Give me a countdown.
Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, Marisa's Analysis Trap Tower. The point of this game is to collect chests, get to the exit. If you collect enough chests on the floor, you can go to the next floor. And on the very last floor, you have to collect all the chests to get the last cutscene, and that's the entire run. Now the thing with this game is I have to control 2 characters, and it's not easy because both characters at the same time. I can do what's called a call movement, where I move the other character like you would move an NPC, while I'm moving another character. So if it looks like this is a co-op game, this can be played co-op, but I'm not playing it co-op. I'm controlling both sides, which is why this game is difficult to play. The next stage you'll kind of get... You'll kind of see the call mechanics in action a little clearer. So on the left here we have Marisa, on the right we have Alice. I have to switch between them a lot. Marisa has a broom ride for her, like, special ability. Each of the characters has one unique ability. And Alice has a doll which can hit things and trigger things kind of automatically. So here's one of my favorite stages, which kind of shows why I like this run, because of how I have to move both characters. Okay. I'm pretty nervous right now, because this is the easy part, and with not a whole lot of practice here. Okay. That was a bit slow, but I recovered. And trying to recover from any mistake you do in this game is difficult. And I know this can be a very difficult game to follow, just because of how... I mean, this is difficult to play, period. But yeah, there's a trick I could have done at the beginning of the stage. I went for it, where I could get those 2 chests down there. However, I don't actually need those 2 chests, just because of how the number of chests I need on this floor counts. It saves time, and doesn't take any time to go and try and get those 2, so no problem there. I guess one thing I didn't explain are those bubbles I'm hitting, which move each side of the stage. There's a blue and red side of the stage, and by hitting these bubbles I can scroll it, so I can, you know, continue on the stage. Yes, this is a PC game. Okay. My PB of this game is 32:13. This can go sub 30. And I've been on sub 30 pace before, but it's a very punishing game. while, I have not been able to get that. Here's a little trick. I missed it. But you can enter that door without there even being a floor. Okay, so in this game there is chest duplication, where I kind of collect the same chest with both characters, and I have to align myself for this trick. Alright, I collected 2 chests there. And what that does is it lets me skip some stages. Because the number of chests that you get is all that really matters for being able to go to the next floor. So you can see right there I collected 7 out of 5 chests. And that skips like a 40-second auto-scroller. Alright, good. That jump over there with Alice is a bit difficult. So far, I have not died, so the pace seems to be pretty good. So this stage is an example of where there are switches, where you can hit switches on one side with one character and they affect the other side. That's kind of the gimmick of that stage. Here we have conveyors. Ooh, I died. Oh man. It's to be expected in this game. What happened there is I did call movement to the right instead of left, because I have to move one character to the right and the other to the left, and when I only have one cardinal direction to work with, it's not easy to do that, since I have to like do one input really quickly and then the other input at the same time. Okay, that worked. A little slow, but not that big of a deal. Yes, Marisa is trying to steal Patchouli's books because that's what she does in her life. This is a Toho game, if no one has noticed that yet, and part of the... it's a Toho fan game, and part of the Toho-verse is where Marisa tries to steal Patchouli's books. Okay, that was good. Sometimes that jump there is really difficult to make because I want to make sure both of those blocks, those black blocks, get hit. I go through both of them so they don't fall down. And sometimes I don't make it, and I selected the wrong stage because I'm good at this game. Now this stage has a bit of variance with one of the chests I collect. It actually affects the right side, how fast I collect the chest over there, with Marisa on the left. Here I have a bunch of counting I have to do. You can see that with one character I'm scrolling the screen and the other... Ah, that was a bit slow, and because I made a mistake, things just got out of hand, and I died. A lot of the things I have to do in this game, I'm pretty much blind to because I can't look at both sides of the game at the same time. I don't have two pairs of eyes. What's next? I can't actually see my splits that tell me what stages I have to do. For this one, I have to get Marisa to hit two of the blue switches at the same time in midair. It's kind of difficult to do and not very consistent. I missed a chest. That's kind of new. Ah. I would say I'm choking right here, but it's kind of to be expected. As much time as I've spent on this game, it's very normal that I still choke at just random stages, and yeah, it's... As I've said before, this game is not easy. And for those... if you think that this game is hard to follow, it's harder to play. Fix this. I made a bit of a mistake here. Okay, slow strats, but didn't die, and that's what matters. Roll 5. So there are a total of 8 floors in this game, and the category I'm doing is all floors, or any percent. You could argue that completing the 6th floor is any percent, since they actually give you... they actually say that the last 2 floors are extra floors, but what's the fun in that? Okay, this stage is a good example of fake blocks. There are a lot of these blocks I'm jumping over, and you can see with the spikes down there that some of these blocks don't actually exist. And some of those, a lot of the jumps I'm doing in this stage is tight, but you can't actually tell at all if you haven't played the game. So here we have another chest duplication, got it first try, that's pretty good. It just skips having to scroll to the very top of the stage for just a single chest. And because of how the chest count works, it's nice. Okay. It just means I don't have to get that. Gimmick of this stage is that there's a time limit that's really short, so I get to hear the almost running out of time. 4 seconds remaining, but I haven't had anything faster than that. This stage is just kind of pure platforming and avoiding enemies. Ah, that jump is kind of difficult to make. A lot of these routes or strategies I'm doing here don't have a lot of variance in them. The RNG in this game is almost non-existent. From what I can tell, there's no intentional RNG in this game. Like, the very few instances of RNG seem to be by accident. That's not how you start this level. Am I a robot? I am a speedrunner.
And then a quick reminder that the speedrunner is Pink Pajamas, and that you guys can follow him at twitch.tv/pinkpajamas. And next up after this, we have Sonic Heroes ran by GamePro as well.
That was slightly slow, but still nonetheless pretty good. Now here's another fun stage, just because it's pure platforming and almost no puzzle. I get to dodge a bunch of fireballs. With 2 characters nonetheless. World 6. Siege, bit difficult. I made a slight mistake there, and I know there's not much of a way I could have recovered. What they're saying, Yukuri shite ne, which means take it easy. It's kind of a Japanese meme, or those kind of ugly looking faces. Yeah, there's a link there in the chat. Here we have a nice and easy auto-scroller. Bit of a breather. Nice breather here. Still kind of a short stage. So it's not much of a breather. Dang. I clipped down. While a lot of the mechanics of this game are really fun, the kind of game engine or physics is not exactly the tightest, so I can sometimes clip randomly like that. There are also points where I can clip into blocks that appear and die that way. So I also have to be aware of that. There are also... we'll see in the next stage, but when you destroy blocks, it takes priority to the very left, so I kind of have to do some weird positioning. Like I'll kind of show right here. If you can see there, I was facing to the right, and very much on the right block there. But it was the left block that actually got hit. So on a stage like this, it makes things kind of strange to control. That was a good jump. And that was a good stage. I choked on this stage quite a bit in practice. And with no choke no real... There was that one choke before, but it wasn't too bad. I'm actually on pretty good pace. Starting with the extra levels already so far. So if you... I didn't have much time to explain it, but on the 6-6, the stage I did before with all the destroyable blocks, I duplicated 4 chests. I really only needed to do 3 because one of them is inconsistent. But that skips like a minute-long auto-scroller as well. So the chest duplicating mechanic is nice in what it skips. And that's the last of the chest duplication we'll be doing. There are some chests other chests in this run I could duplicate, but it doesn't actually save time, so So here we have a switch maze. It can be kind of hard to follow. But I did well. It took me a while to get that one down. Well, a while to get this entire game down, just how it feels to play a game like this is you're not going to have a whole lot of consistency to work with. So right there I did kind of a glitch where Marisa got scrolled up even though that wasn't actually... she wasn't actually on part of the screen that was scrolling. It's another example of how, like, the very edge of something is affected really weird. This stage, I was choking a whole bunch in practice, and I got that first try. That jump there is really tricky to do, and I was getting it like 20% of the time in practice, so seeing myself get it first try there was nice. The point of this game, yeah, steal books, solve puzzles, do stuff. Now here's the slow... it's not the slowest stage of the game, but it's the slowest pace of the game because that white fuzzy that you see there on the left, he needs to survive to the end of the stage. And on this floor, I have 2 chests possible I can skip, and both of them are on this level just because a lot of the... I get to skip the left half of this, and a lot of the fuzzy just moving around, and that saves like 30 seconds, and most chests, if you skip them, do not save a whole lot of time. So it's nice that I can skip at least some chests on this floor. My PB, I've said it before, but it is 32-13. I'm only behind by a minute, which is actually pretty good. And I've been getting pretty good World 8s in practice. In fact, we could actually be about on pace with my PB if I get this first try. I mean, this is quite a difficult stage, since the intended, at least on the first half of the stage, is I'm doing the complete intended method, where you have to control both characters kind of at the same time. And that's actually pretty good. That was a gold split. 11 seconds off of my PB. I'm 11 seconds behind, so... I guess I'm a little further behind now. On, like, the easiest stage of the final floor. Yeah, this is quite a bit like Lost Vikings. It's kind of a puzzle game where you can sort of control multiple characters at the same time. You don't really need to do that in Lost Vikings, but in this game you do. Oh, there's a lot of that. So the only gimmick to this stage is that those 2 bubbles I hit right there, you have to hit with separate characters. At least what I think. So here's one of my favorite stages in the game. Pure fireball dodging. I may need a bit of concentration for this. Okay, that made it. hard part is done with. I've seen someone speedrun Nitroid, but I haven't seen the post-game get speedrun, so it kind of defeats the purpose in my opinion. So here's the shortest stage in the game, and it's kind of complicated. It took the number of tries it took me to complete that for the very first time. I actually don't know the number because I overflowed the try counter, so I ended up with -15. Which I thought was pretty funny. And from the shortest stage in the game to the longest stage in the game. The reason why this stage is difficult is because any mistake you make is going to lose a whole lot of time, because this stage is like 100 seconds or so? I think a little more than that. No, 140. I can't math, but it's a minute 40. A minute 40 long. So if I like die towards the end of the stage, that's about how much time I'm losing off of one mistake. So if I'm gonna play it safe at all. And there's a rabbit that can sometimes appear. I think it's RNG? The rabbit didn't appear. It just got stuck into nothingness. Yeah, anything that's not currently on the screen that kind of needs to be scrolled. The enemies, they don't have any cycles at all, it's just completely frozen. And there's one enemy that immediately jumps into the kind of frozen time area, if you want to call it that way. And sometimes that rabbit can just get in your way, and it's really scary because if you die from the rabbit, you lose like an entire minute. And considering your attention has to be divided between a whole bunch of characters, or whole bunch, between two characters. So, a bit of an auto-scroller, at least on the first half of this. Not a whole lot I can do to make it go faster, except not hit the bubbles that would slow me down. Are there IL tables a thing for this game? Kind of. There aren't a whole lot of IL runs, because I'm mostly doing the IL strats on this game when I do runs, because there are no, like, there's very little, like, frame-perfect dumb stuff in this game. How many stages are left? Currently 3. So, I'm actually on really good pace. This could actually be world record. Which is kind of nice, considering how my practice went. It's not going to be world record by a lot, but sub 32 is actually possible.
World record height?
Like here, I have to hit both of the bubbles at the same time. It scrolls the screen really fast in one direction on both sides. So, if I kind of mistime it at all, it means that the entire screen just scrolls like mad. Okay.
It runs until like 9 PM Eastern, I think, mod.
Okay, this stage, when you're playing it like for your first time, it's kind of bullshit. It's the bullshit stage. But since they just have a whole lot of traps that are not obvious at all. And a lot of the navigation I'm doing, it's like very hard to follow, but once you actually know the layout of the stage, it's actually a pretty interesting stage to speedrun. It's not a very fun stage to play for the first time. Alright, final stage. I do this stage at the very last because there's a really dumb section towards the end, which is probably the most difficult in terms of execution, most difficult thing in terms of execution, and if I miss it at all, then I lose more than a minute. And right there is the only part of the game where I have to use my peripheral vision. I need to concentrate. Oh! I died. No world record. Sad days. Oh well, it's still a pretty good run.
It happens.
Good old Twitch lag. Right as I take that death, I see world record hype.
Send me when it's ready to time.
Yeah, I'm nervous right now. This stage makes me really, really nervous. Which is why I do it last, because I do not want to stay nervous throughout the rest of the stages that I have to do. Ah, I shouldn't have hit that. I gotta wait for this cycle. I could possibly have made it, but then I lose my visual cue for the hardest trick in the game. Ah, see, that's why that part is just really dumb, and I like to do it at the very end. If I had made that very last part, then I would have finished the run, but seeing as I did it, I just lost like a minute and a half. This is another reason why I like to keep this at the very end of the run. And while this is the hardest stage of the game, I like to do it last anyway, because it means that, as I said before, my nerves... I do not get nervous after... I do get nervous after I complete the stage. So if I do end up getting like a good time on this stage, then I'll probably just choke on a different stage. And time.
So that's actually marathon best so far.
Huh.
My other marathon runs were like 36 or 35 or 34, somewhere around